Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. Today, I want to take you on a virtual visit to the Grand Ballroom 2 as set up during the second Pacific Audiofest. A room that was masterfully presented by some of the most experienced and award-winning partners roving the annual hi-fi audio show circuit. We will hear from room partners Gordon Waters, a partner in the audio company of Marietta, Georgia, Kevin Hayes, the founder, president, and chief engineer at the Valve Amplification Company of Sarasota, Florida, and Leif Swanson, the chief designer at Schweikert Audio of Riverside, California. This year, the sources used were either the $42,000 Kronos Pro LE turntable, using the original 12-inch $10,000 Black Beauty tone arm, fitted with the $3,950 overachieving Hana Umami red cartridge, feeding the Valve Amplification Company's $80,000 Statement Phono Stage, or the $23,000 Arender W20 SE server that handed off to the $24,000 Esoteric K01XD, a CD, SACD player, and DAC. Electronics included the Valve Amplification Company's $80,000 Statement Linestage, with 4 of the $42,000 VAC Master 300 amplifiers, for a total of $168,000, used to bi-amplify the $180,000 a pair Schweikert Audio Ultra 7 loudspeakers. 2 of the new $16,500 VSA Shockwave V12XS subwoofers, for a total of $33,000, were implemented for room node compensation, active bass trapping, and management. More on that matter momentarily. Cabling was a full loom of the master-built Ultra series of interconnects, speaker cables, and power cords. But the sonic performance in this room was absolutely astonishing, encroaching on the utterly staggering results they obtained in this very same room at last year's inaugural event when using 4 of the nearly twice as expensive VAC Statement 452 IQ music block amplifiers. And with dimensions something like 60 by 65 feet with a 14-foot ceiling, the Grand Ballroom 2 is some 3,900 square feet. Because this team is so skilled at room setup, they have chosen to actively manage this cavernous space by employing a special framework of supports to hold a mixture of varying density and textured curtains, managing to shrink the room down by some 10 or 12 feet from both side walls and closer to 15 or more feet from the front wall itself. Yet bass performance in this mausoleum of a space was not only extended, fast, tight, powerful, and extremely well pitch defined, it was virtually identically realized at any position in the room. No small feat in a room this size. Delivering smooth and extended bass response in a space this large was accomplished by utilizing those 2 individual Shockwave V12XS subwoofers, placed strategically and carefully phase blended to the left and right of the main speaker positions on the other side of those large black curtains. You see, additional subwoofers can be used to reduce room resonance, allowing for the improved overall quality of bass throughout the entire room. The thing to understand is that it's not about adding more bass. It's about distributing it much more evenly throughout the space itself. Such multi-woofer phase-controlled application reduces standing waves through destructive interference and provides the most linear and consistent frequency response for all locations in the room. Midrange was pure, with indisputably authentic timbre, full-bodied texture, and rife with an immediacy and intimacy that was infectious. The upper frequencies were transparent, detailed, and extended, revealing that final degree of effortlessness, air, and shimmer as naturally as if the system were merely breathing. And then there is the unsurpassed sound staging and imaging. So well defined, properly spaced and sized, so corporal, so convincing that with your eyes closed, you could almost believe that you could just reach out and touch the performers in their individual physical space. Simply a superbly lifelike rendering of recordings that, honestly, I have yet to hear equaled, let alone bested, by any other group of manufacturers. Period. Given the remarkable sonics, I was honored to be asked to present one of my after-hours music sessions Saturday evening to a full house. I am so honored to be allowed to share some of my favorite and best-sounding LPs with a group of so clearly passionate music lovers. We had a full house, and these diehard music lovers seemed to enjoy my selections and anecdotes about them as much as the superb sound that my curated LP selections recreate on such a system. Now, let's hear from the partners as they walk us through the amazing system used for this year's performance, and we'll hear from Leif Swanson on the von Schweikert audio design goals before we hear about 4 minutes of a killer demo track. This time from the European 12-inch 45 RPM single, Cat People Putting Out Fire by Georgio, Moroder, and David Bowie. Have a look and a listen.
Hi, I'm Gordon Waters from the Audio Company. We're here at Pacific Audiofest 2023, and the room here is the von Schweikert Audio Valve Amplification Company room. I'm going to tell you about our source equipment that we have here. First off, we have the Kronos Flow turntable. It's notable primarily for the counter-rotating platters and the way it's isolated. It's a really high-end turntable. This one has the Black Beauty tone arm. We are all using the Hana Umami Red cartridge on this, which is a relatively new product we're really happy with. As far as digital gear, we are using the Esoteric KO1 XD CD player. We are using that both as a disc player and as a DAC feeding from the R-Render W20 SC, which has a music library stored on it. So basically that's how we run signals to the system, and at that point it feeds into the VAC preamplifiers. When I'll turn you over to Kevin from VAC to tell you about everything that's great about them.
I'm Kevin Hayes, founder and president of VAC, and the signal goes from the items that Gordon mentioned via master built cables, ballast, to first the VAC statement phono stage. This is our cost no object 2-chassis phono stage, all triode. Hard to say in a few minutes what's going on here, but it's extremely special. Entirely hand-wired, plated up through a variety of metals for RF rejection. The entire audio circuit is hand-wired and carried on decoupled mass plates to make it essentially immune to any microphony, any vibration from the outside world, and carries a beautiful black top, beautiful glass top, which allows you to see into the craftsmanship and the art and kind of celebrate the vacuum tube and the technology along the way. It has 4 inputs, 3 gain modes, variable loading for moving magnet or moving coil cartridges, a mono switch for playing back some of the older recordings with reduced noise, and really is one of the finest things we've ever had the privilege to manufacture. Over here is the matching piece, the statement Linestage. The chassis and mass decoupling techniques are the same in it. It incorporates a variety of exotic parts, including a volume control, which is custom made for us. In Japan, our cost, not yours, is almost $1,000 just for the control itself, and then we motorize it and do a variety of things to it. Exotic custom-made resistors. Really, everything we could think of to do that might make the sound better is in this box, and boy does it make the sound better. And from there we go on to the Master 300 power amplifiers. From the statement line stage, we head over to a quad of VAC Master 300 IQ power amplifiers. The Master IQ is what we call a music block amplifier, meaning it can be run either as a stereo amplifier, actually a dual mono amplifier, or as a straight mono amplifier. And there are 3 switches in the back that change the circuitry to match those modes, as if the amplifier were built for just that mode. In this case, they're running in their mono mode, in which they give 300 watts output, and they're being used to biamp the von Schweikert Ultra 7s. These amplifiers feature our patented IQ automatic continuous biasing system, which holds the underlying idle point of the tube steady at all times, no matter what you're doing with the music, and provides a much firmer foundation for the match between the tubes and the loudspeaker. They also tend to enhance tube life, protect the amplifier in the event of a tube breaking internally, and prevent gas current runaways from ever happening, and will tell you when a tube gets weak and you should change it when you get time. Truly a very useful set of features. Accepts balanced inputs or single-ended inputs, and is entirely derivative from the technology of the Cost No Object Statement 452. In fact, the main hand-wired audio assemblies are the same ones you would find in the Statement 452. Meanwhile, over here on static display, you see our new Essence 80 monoblock. You can clearly see the inspiration for the styling from the Master 300s. These will deliver approximately 85 watts and are entirely on machine plate stock chassis. And they deliver sound that is actually stunningly good for their size and price. They're very close to a Master 300 sound character. These are actually on active display in another room at the show, along with a matching little preamplifier called the Essence Linestage. And we expect great things from these.
Hello, my name is Leif Swanson. I am the chief designer for von Schweikert Audio, and we also have Masterbuilt Audio here. And at this show, we're displaying our $180,000 Ultra 7. It's the newest flagship in our product line. The whole design theory of the Ultra flagship products is every Ultra is a flagship, because it's not that we are making one better than the other. All we're doing is we're designing all of them to have the same sound quality, same voicing, same everything about it, no less expensive parts or anything like that. It's all built kind of as a cost no object, but this is essentially is every bit as good as an Ultra 11 in a smaller form factor. That's the thought behind it. The Ultra 7 has the same rear ambient tweeters, horn tweeter and ribbon tweeter that we use in the Ultra 9s and the Ultra 11s. They are adjustable. They're sent from the factory to be flat response, but yet they are adjustable. You can either raise the volume of them or we can lower it. So we have the Masterbuilt cables. So we're running all Ultra cables. As you can see, we're bi-amping each speaker. The Ultra 7s are available with the additional amplifier to power the woofers alone if you want. But in this case, we're showing them completely passive. But as like I said, we have all Masterbuilt Ultra cables and power cords. And yeah.
So, Leif, thanks for taking time with us today. As you mentioned, we're here at Pacific Audiofest. But if you remember, I did an episode a while back about the von Schweikert sound, and one of the things I mentioned was it seems that many companies compare their speakers to other speakers, where you guys compare your speakers to live performance.
Absolutely.
Can you go into some of that and how it affects the sound of you guys? I mean, it's so different.
Ever since I was a child, I mean, that's what it was. I mean, we went to a lot of concerts as a kid, and then ended up running large-scale concerts as an adult.
Sound, yeah.
And that's always, I mean, where are you more excited? Listening to music at home, or not talking about now, but I mean listening to music through a regular stereo system, or being at a concert?
Yeah.
The emotion and everything that's packed into it, the sound, the fullness, how it is. And so for me, being a musician and an audio technical engineer, I want to reproduce that. I don't want to listen to a stereo. I want to listen to
Music.
Yeah. And you know, even, you know, I'm not sure how to say this, but I mean, the majority of the stuff that I've gone around and listened to, the soundstage is very, very trapped in between a very short distance around the speakers. Sound doesn't really too much very often extend out past the speakers, and it should.
Yeah.
Depth of soundstage. I mean, literally, the speakers need to disappear.
Yep.
Now, I know sometimes there's troubled rooms and there's issues where sometimes it's complicated to get that to happen, but the illusion that you're not listening to a pre-recorded event is that's the passion. I mean, you were in Munich. I mean, we were all blown away because the voices were coming from almost outside of the room, but they weren't faint.
No.
There was a balance across the stage, and just like a live performance would sound like.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm, obviously I'm probably a little biased, but I mean, but with that being said, I mean, I want people to understand that you don't have to have the $180,000 von Schweikert speakers to do that, and you don't necessarily have to have the super, super expensive VACs. We can do this, or let's say 90%, get 90% of what we get out of this system, even if we were to use, say, our ESEs or our E3 Mark IIs, our much less expensive speakers.
The familial sound between every product in the line is compelling. It really is.
Capital Audiofest, we put the E3 Mark IIs. Well, actually, we were using the ESEs at that one, but we put them in this huge room. By the way, we're in a huge room right now. I mean, this is what you see with the curtain. There's another 20, 25 feet behind the curtain, and I think there's 10 or 15 feet off to the side of each curtain. So we split the room way in half, more than in half, so it's more intimate. But with that being said, like Capital Audiofest, we had the ESEs hooked up, and of course we had all the VAC 4 amplifiers and everything. But when the ESEs went on, we could use all 4 amplifiers. We disconnected the Ultra 11s and we put them on. People walking out of the room sat there and said, "Gosh, if their big speakers sound that good, how do the little ones sound?"
I saw some guys going out exactly. He's not lying. They said that, and I said, "Dude, those were the little ones."
Yeah, and that's what I want people to understand. All our speakers do this.
Yeah.
There's no, just because it's more expensive doesn't mean that we. It's designed to a different standard. I mean, I design every single speaker. We design, von Schweikert Audio designs every single speaker to be as close to what
Live music sounds like.
No kidding.
Yeah. Buddy, thanks for your time.
No worries. You gonna listen to the music?
Yeah, what do you say? You gonna play a cut for us?
Sure. What do you want?
Let's do some David Bowie, Cat People Putting on Fire. What do you say?
You got it.
It's just the fear of losing you. Don't you know my name? Well, you've been so long, and I've been putting on fire. With gasoline, see these eyes so red, red like jungle burning bright. Those who feel me near pull the blinds and change their minds. It's been so long. Still this pulse tonight, a flying echo, a heartbeat. Just be still with me. You wouldn't believe what I've been through. You've been so long. Well, it's been so long. Well, so blue, an ageless heart that can never mend, whose tears can never dry. Judgment made can never bend. See these eyes so green, I can stare for 1,000 years. Just be still with me. You're broken to leave what I've been through. With me so long, well it's been so long. And I've been moving up the fire, gasoline. Moving up fire with gasoline.
Again, my sincere thanks to Gordo, Kevin, and Leif for making the time to share all of this information with us today. In closing, I have to say that these partners consistently bring an extraordinary experience to shows for us to enjoy. These partners just get it and continually bring us the opportunity to hear what can be accomplished when your sole goal is to radically diminish the distinctions between the sound of recorded music being played back and the live performance. In my experience, these partners more routinely bridge the gap between live and playback, bringing us closer and closer still to accomplishing that grand deception, that of convincing us we are listening to live music than any other manufacturer or group of manufacturers on the road tour today. You simply need to hear one of their demos to understand. While this episode represents the last of my recorded in-room experiences from the second Pacific Audiofest, next week will be my final installment from my June visit to the Pacific Northwest, a visit with a Seattle area audio dealer and a discussion about what they are out to accomplish. As always, thanks for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.